Hi, this is Marcus Guiliano from HealthyChefDude.com. I want to talk to you about wine. Specifically, I want to talk to you about Resveratrol. Dr. Mercola had a great thing on the super antioxidant Resveratrol that we've known about for probably the last 10-15 years. And Dr. Mercola does a great job on his blog today talking about it and talking about the grape that has the highest levels, which was muscadine grape. Now, unfortunately, I can't find his specific literature, but I'm going to share with you what I know about Resveratrol and the highest grape that I'm aware of and one that I'm aware of that actually has it. Now, Resveratrol was first thought of or brought to life by M. Zhang in 1997. He was the one who wrote a book, Cancer Chemopreventative Activity of Resveratrol. So he wrote this and really blew Resveratrol up. So just a couple years after that, Dr. Creasy from Cornell University set out to discover more about resveratrol in wine grapes. So he did a comprehensive study of over 100 different wines from the United States, from New York, and really from all over the world to do the levels of resveratrol in the wine and come up with what had the most. And here's what his findings are. It's very interesting. Now, resveratrol is measured in micromolars. That's how you measure it. So if you say this wine here has resveratrol, what's the level? You would say this wine has 5 micromolars, just as an example. So here's what some of his studies have found, his comprehensive study that he did. Some of the white wines that he tested were at 0.5 micromolars to like 2. So white grapes are not typically the place you're going to get it. And I know Dr. Mercola mentioned muscadine, which is a white grape with a slightly pinkish skin. I personally don't know that grape that well because it's from like the Carolinas. It's native down in that area, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So they know more of what it is down there. So the red grapes are which actually produce the most resveratrol. And the reason why is because red grapes, it's in their pigment because it's part of their natural defense. Resveratrol helps protect them against fungus. So the red grapes, the red skin builds up this fungus protective agent that helps them survive out in the vineyards or in the wild or wherever they're from. Now, here's the interesting thing. Not all red wine is the same. Not all grapes are the same. Certain things have different levels. So let's go through some of what Dr. Creasy had found in his really pioneering study here. Let's see. On average, red wine contains between 3 to 4 micromolars of resveratrol. Wines above 5 are considered to be high levels of resveratrol. So over 5 micromolars of resveratrol. So let's see. Things over 7 are considered very high, and things wine over 10 micromolars are considered extremely high. So here's some of the wines, the results, the grapes. California Merlot contains about 5 micromolars. So that's just above average. Let's see, the average resveratrol content of New York wines tested at 7.5. So New York has a little more. Now we're going to break this down into actually the categories of what grapes. So for instance, New York Cabernet Sauvignon, 8.3 micromolars. So now we're getting higher. We're breaking that 8 range. Let's see. Pinot Noir, on average, 13.6 micromolars of resveratrol. So this is now we're actually talking. New York State Merlot, 10 micromolars. What's happening to the camera? Are we recording?
We are recording.
Oh, okay. Looks like your face was giving.
Well, the battery is.
Our batteries? Okay, then we'll have plenty of time to get going. So, back to the levels of resveratrol in wine. In Dr. Creasy's studies here, so he went all around the world. So he was finding stuff in California at 10 levels, at 15 levels. Now here's what's astonishing. Pinot Noir has the highest. He revealed that Pinot Noir grapes have the highest levels of resveratrol. Specifically, he's targeted New York State wines, their Pinot Noirs. And here's the astonishing levels. A lot of the New York State Pinots were 15 and up, which under his guidelines were extraordinary. Now, Pinot Noirs are produced all around the world. So he's saying the ones that are produced in colder climates like New York and that have a higher, what am I trying to say, fungus, or higher probabilities of fungus, are going to develop higher levels of resveratrol. So now, this wine here, the Dr. Frank Pinot Noir, this is one that he specifically cites, that was specifically cited in his test. This particular wine here, from New York State, from the Finger Lakes, has 46 micromolars, 46.1, which blows everything else off the charts. This is what he considers to be the highest specific level. Without trying to plug a specific brand in general, this is the one that they flagged as the highest level of resveratrol. 46.1 compared to an average or a good number of 5 on most wines. This blows it out of the water. So what do you do if you go out to a restaurant? Because I want to talk to you, teach you how to eat better at restaurants and enjoy life and indulge when you can, and and balance your life. So here's what you do. You go to a restaurant, they don't have this particular one, because not all restaurants have this particular one. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to ask for a New York State Pinot Noir because of the climate. Let's say they don't have a New York State Pinot Noir. Then you're going to look around the world and order a Pinot Noir based from somewhere else. Remember, the colder the climate, the better off you're going to get. In simplicity terms, resveratrol is an antioxidant. And antioxidants are the direct relationship to the color of the pigment that you're eating. So for instance, we all know carrots have a carotenoid, which is an antioxidant. Berries are high in antioxidants. Blueberries are high because blueberries are darker than strawberries. So now we're talking about higher levels of antioxidants. Chocolate is an extremely high level. You think about it, chocolate is a dark color. So antioxidants are directly related to the color of the pigment of the food. So that's why the red wines have more than the whites. So you're going to go back and you're going to want to order a Pinot Noir from somewhere around the world for your dining experience. Now, I'm not saying you need to drink wine to get resveratrol to be healthy. All I'm saying is a lot of us know about resveratrol. A lot of us think that we're getting the adequate levels or sufficient levels of resveratrol in red wine that we're drinking, and we're absolutely not. This is a way to actually help you make better choices for the resveratrol levels. I mean, even something like this champagne here. This is a rosé champagne. It's made from Chardonnay grapes and Pinot Noir grapes. You're going to say, well, gee, it's not red. Of course it's not red, because they don't leave the skins intact for the full maceration time. But the reason why it is slightly red is because of the pigment of the Pinot Noir grapes infiltrating in here for the small the maceration time that the grapes and everything is crushed. So this actually is going to have probably higher levels of resveratrol than a champagne that is a non-rosé, because a non-rosé champagne is going to be a Blanc de Blanc, which means a Chardonnay. This is actually going to be from Pinot Noir, either partially or fully. So that's an interesting tidbit on champagne. If you think, I'm going to have champagne tonight, let me get my resveratrol, you're going to want to go for the rosé champagne. So I hope this helps you. My goal here is to help you make better choices in dining, eating, going out to restaurants, cooking at home for yourself, just enjoying life where you can splurge, indulge, enjoy a glass of wine, and then balance your body and make sure that you're educated with what you're doing. My passion here is restaurants, food, wine, high quality beer. So hopefully I'm a resource to you to help, and I've gotten lots and lots of comments from people from all over the country, which is great. If you have a question, if you want me to cover it, I'll be happy to cover it. Send it to chef@healthychefdude.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, direct message me on Twitter, email me from my website. I have a lot of questions lined up. I do tend to bump some things and put things like this. This is current events. When Dr. Mercola covers something, I saw this was me for a chance to chime in with what my line was. I've learned over the years. I said this is a perfect opportunity. And I love Dr. Mercola. I read his stuff every day, and I can continue to read his stuff. I'm just not familiar with the muscadine grape being at the levels that he had quoted, but I would love some more scientific literature on that so I can make an adequate, if I could see muscadine grapes have 20 micromolars, then I can say, well, gee, now we're talking about something more than 20 micromolars if muscadine has that or whatever. So if anybody knows of a site that has that or the research, just shoot it over to me. I'll take a look at it. But it's going to be very hard to find the muscadine grape when you go out to eat at a restaurant. So stick to Pinot Noir. If you're going to do champagne, stick to a rosé. If you have questions, email me, follow me on Twitter, send me feedback. I love your feedback, and you are what you eat.